I noticed something as I was taking my notes that
what's that?
with each line, it got thicker and thicker and thicker. Like, I was writing sentences, and then by the end of it, I was writing paragraphs.
Really?
Yeah.
You were only writing sentences to start?
Yeah. Like, sentence, enter. Sentence, enter. Sentence, enter.
God,
What?
that's what I do. But I use bullets because I like bullet points.
Wow. I'm Mason Arnold, and I think I'm so freaking cool.
I am so freaking cool. Why do you
Yeah.
think I have more friends than you?
It's because you don't allow me to have any more than you. Because you're
right.
controlling and
I know.
psychotic.
Don't tell Peyton.
She probably already knows.
She has no clue.
She's trying to think about how to get out of it.
What? To get out of what?
The relationship.
No, she's not. You better not be.
She's. Whoa. I see what you did there.
Yeah, you did. Are you ready?
Yeah.
We're recording already. I
Well,
pressed the button. I should have known that.
Look who's trying to skip intros this week. Hi.
Hi.
No, I said hi.
I said hi back. It's a mutual greeting. We're here for each other.
I was saying hi to the audience, not you.
Oh, sorry.
You weeb.
Sorry.
Anyway, this is the right wrong turn. I'm glad that you took it. Oh, I'm so glad that you took this right wrong turn. I hate that actually.
Yeah, don't be weird about it. Don't be weird about it, please. We want people to listen.
Oh wait. More people than you listen to this?
Yeah. My parents listen.
Oh geez, guys. Oh no.
And my grandparents eventually will listen to it.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's kind of fun.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, anyway. This is the right wrong turn.
It is the right wrong turn.
Good job on getting here.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
You probably followed Facebook, or you saw it on several people's Snapchat stories.
Or Podbean.
Or Podbean. If you're just a random listener, like we have one from the United Kingdom. We had a singular download from the United Kingdom.
Nice.
Thought that was neat. So if you're from the United Kingdom, please talk to us.
Yeah,
Or if you're one of the 6 from Pennsylvania that downloaded it.
Really?
Yeah, we had 6 people from Pennsylvania.
That's wild.
Yeah, it is. It's kind of cool though, really.
Maybe they're Russian spies.
No, I hope not.
What, are you racist against Russians?
No, that's not how that works.
I think that is. We still haven't said our names yet. Hi, I'm Ty Bears.
Sorry. My name is Mason Arnold, and I like to yawn a lot. I actually took medicine this morning that it's called pseudoephedrine, and it's used to make meth.
Yeah?
My dad told me that, and I was all about it. Wholeheartedly. Took it, downed it, and then I texted him earlier today, when I was at work and told him, this methicin is fantastic. You see what I did there?
I'm going to piss my pants because that's so funny.
I know, right? I think my dad did the same thing. Maybe. I don't know. You're hearing this a week late, Dad, because of the system that we run. Anyway, now that we are 4 minutes in.
Mm-hmm. That was quick.
Yeah, it was a fast 4 minutes.
It always goes by so quick.
It really does. It really does.
It's like you. Quick.
What's that supposed to mean?
Anyway, so what are you going to be talking about today, Mason?
Today, Tyler, I will be talking about the Stull Cemetery.
Ooh, what's that?
It's a cemetery.
Did someone steal it because it's stole?
Nope.
Oh.
Stull. Stull.
Oh. Wow.
Yeah, not like stolen. Idiot.
You know, that's kind of a fun way to steal stole. To spell stole. Fuck.
Wow.
I'm going to listen to this out loud and then Mary and Carrie can be like, what are you doing in there? You're not allowed to do that podcast anymore. You're cussing too much.
Are you ready to begin the story about Stull Cemetery?
Yes, sir.
This is different from all of my other stories because it's not necessarily just a story. It's like some background, and then it's a lot of just miscellaneous stories from other people.
How'd you hear about the Stull Cemetery?
Well, I don't remember. Someone at some point told me that there was a gateway to hell in Kansas, and I thought, well, I gotta look that up because that sounds really interesting and improbable. So I looked it up, and it was exactly what I thought it was. You ready?
Yes.
The legend of Stull Cemetery begins in the year of our Lord, 1974.
Wait, the year of our Lord, 1974?
The year of our Lord, 1974. When students from the University of Kansas's student newspaper claimed that the devil appeared in Stull twice a year, once on Halloween and once on the midnight of the spring equinox.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah, it is. You want to know why the devil appeared there?
No, why is that? Wait. Shit, yes, I do want to know
You
why.
do.
I want to know why.
You do want to know why. Well, legend has it that I'll tell you later, because it's on here later.
You know what?
Gotcha.
You do this to me every single time.
I really do.
And I hate you
and
for
you fall
it.
for it every time. You're just so gullible.
You know what? We'll see about gullible.
We
We'll
will?
see about gullible.
Won't we?
Yeah,
How so?
I'll show you.
Do it. I dare you.
Okay, but I'll show you later. Ha! Gotcha.
I'm gullible.
Yeah, you are.
My name's Tyler and I'm gullible.
No, your name isn't Tyler. My name is Tyler.
And you're gullible.
Stop. Mason.
Oh, man. All right. Bullet number two. It was quickly discarded by the citizens of Stull as a hoax made up by bored college students. Of course, if there was a gateway to hell in my hometown, I would say, yeah, no, that's fake. It's definitely not here. Not one here.
You know, it's kind of funny, though, because, like, the Mormons believe that Jesus' second coming will happen in a place called Jackson County.
Yeah, like in Mississippi.
See, there's two of them. But there's also Jackson County, Missouri.
Whoa.
That's where Kansas City's at.
Ah, look at that.
Yeah. Like a lot of the Mormons that are around here are here because of that. Yeah.
That's
So,
kind of neat.
yeah, it is pretty neat. You would kind of think that, like, I don't know, that's where, like, the Mormon headquarters would be at, but,
Mormon headquarters.
well, yeah, because, like, you know, they got to have a place to come down at.
Regardless, the rumors grew and students eventually began flocking to the cemetery and the abandoned church in search of the devil. There's a church on top of that hill. It's called Emmanuel Hill. It's in the middle of the cemetery. Church on top of the hill. Hill and cemetery. Cemetery in Stull. Stull in Kansas. Kansas in the United States. Stull between Lawrence and Topeka, Kansas? Topeka?
So that means that Topeka is going to be the battleground for the angels.
Not necessarily. Not necessarily. Funny that I should mention Lawrence because it is Topeka. Because I was talking to my brother yesterday about this. I told him what I was doing, and he said, "Oh, the devil, like in Supernatural?" I said, "Yes, Eli, exactly in Supernatural." And I told him that I'd but I would say I would make a Supernatural reference if I remembered, and I remembered. Stull Cemetery might sound familiar to those of you who watch Supernatural, because Sam and Dean are from Lawrence, Kansas, and Stull Cemetery is where they have the final showdown with the devil. It's a remade Stull Cemetery, but I think it's called Stull Cemetery. I don't know. I haven't watched Supernatural, but that is the reference, and you Supernatural fans are probably thinking, "Oh yeah, I remember that." I'm thinking, I don't know what's going on here. It's a weird place. Never watched that show.
I burnt my tongue today.
Are you going to leave that in? Okay, cool. You couldn't see that, but he nodded like a child. It was kind of cute, not going to lie. Got him. The students often defaced and disgraced the tombstones. Disgraced, not disgraced, sorry. They were pretty upset when the devil wouldn't show up, which is kind of an eye roll moment. Because really, come on, you thought that, really?
Oh, man, I thought that if I was edgy enough, the devil would show up. I mean, come on, it's me. I'm such a cool guy.
So then they just started going around and kicking over tombstones, which is real.
Yeah, that's cool. Whenever I try to summon the devil, I usually go out and kick a bunch of tombstones or headstones as well, because I mean, like, that's totally respectful for the devil, and that's totally respectful for all the people that are in those graves. I just want to say that if you're going around kicking down headstones, you are trash and you're garbage.
You are probably the devil, actually.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. I don't know much about the devil. Sorry, devil. I don't know much about you. Nowhere to go but up from rock bottom, am I right?
Fucking train wreck.
Next bullet. I'm only on the 4th bullet right now. And we are 12 minutes into recording. But you're probably not 12 minutes into listening because Tyler's probably edited out 4 minutes of this
I'm
last
going to
12
edit
minutes.
all this out. This rant that you're going on right now?
No, you're not. You're not going to edit it out.
Yeah,
You're going to leave it the hell in, and we are going to like it. And they're going to like it because it's funny and we're funny. And that's why the people listen to us. They don't care about ghosts. It's our names that attract people. Your last name is Bears, for crying out loud. That's plural of bear.
There's
like one
multiple
bear is
bears.
cool enough, but then you add multiple, and then it's just I don't know, a pride of bears.
Ooh, I kind of like that.
You like that,
Though,
right?
I
Although I think
that-
it's called a pride of buffalo.
Or a pride of lions.
Pride of lions, that's what I was thinking of. Yeah, lions kill buffaloes probably. Anyway, we're moving on. One article I read stated that the only spirits to be found in the cemetery were those in bottles and cans. Kind of neat, right?
Yeah.
I thought so too.
Because of, like, the spirits, like...
Yeah, spirits and like beer
Yeah.
and drinks. Yeah, but not actually. They were talking like referring to the spirits, like ghosts and
Right.
ghosts. Yeah, that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
If you have to explain the joke, it's not funny. The students became a big enough issue that police officers had to patrol the area on Halloween and on the equinox to ensure the students stayed away. The officers often handed out fines and arrested those who tested the no trespassing signs. I was going to do air quotes, but you're the only one that can see them. Rumors lingered around until the 90s, but it didn't really take off again until the internet started up, and the internet decided to blow the whole thing out of proportion. Rumors picked back up again when a story surfaced that Pope John Paul II, on a flight to Colorado, had made his pilots redirect the flight to avoid flying over the unholy land of Stull, Kansas in 1993. I thought that was really interesting. And also, I don't know, could be fake, could be real, it's the Pope. Another rumor that helped the town gain popularity, infamy I guess is what it should be referred to, was that the name of the town was derived from the word skull. But it wasn't, actually. The name Stull came from the original postmaster there. The first postmaster's name was Sylvester Stull. Before that, it was called Deer Creek. Deer Creek sounds cooler. But Stull attracts more visitors. But they don't want any visitors, as you'll soon learn. The old church was demolished in 2002 as it became a liability to the county and people were tired of all the college students coming into their town. Some articles I read claimed that the landowner contracted out a construction company and had the church bulldozed. Others I read said that nobody really knew, so I don't know what source to go from for that one. There was and or is an old cedar tree, and it's not an is because it was. Sorry. There was an old cedar tree in the cemetery that was dubbed the hanging tree because of the rumors that witches were hanged there.
Wouldn't it be hung?
Or hanged.
I hate that.
I do too. Every article I read said hanged, and I just decided to write it down.
Huh.
I prefer hung. I prefer to be hung than hanged. Another rumor that I saw was that there was a witch buried in the ground somewhere in there, and her tombstone, or I guess the tombstone, I don't know if it was a male or woman. I don't know about you, but I always have this preconceived notion that all witches are female. I don't know why, just stereotype.
If it's a male, it's a wizard.
Really?
Witchcraft and wizardry?
Oh, I didn't know that was a thing. I just assumed that there could be male witches if they wanted to be.
Well, sorry.
And then female wizards.
It depends on the context.
Although I never really thought of a female wizard before.
Sorry, there can actually be male witches. Like, if there's a guy that's a pagan, he's a witch.
Really?
Yeah. But it's kind of like whenever you think of, like, a doctor or something. I don't know.
I don't think that's nearly the same thing.
Yeah, like
because doctors exist, Tyler.
Witches also exist.
Wow.
Pagans?
I know pagans exist.
And they're witches.
Why are they witches? Do they practice
Like,
black magic?
Like someone who follows Christ is a Christian. Someone
Right.
who's a pagan's a witch.
Really?
Yeah.
Is that what they're called?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, pagans.
Yeah, they have a coven and everything.
Huh.
Yeah.
Wow. I need to broaden my horizons.
And I'm a Christian, but we have done some horrible misinforming, and we view pagans as these evil people.
Right.
But pagans usually tend not to be evil people. this might surprise a few people, but they don't actually want to sacrifice your baby, and they don't want to.
I do though.
They don't want to take a bath in innocent baby's blood in the name of Satan. They don't want to take a bath in babies.
Take a bath in baby's blood.
Thank you. In the name of Satan.
In the name of Satan. Wow, that's a lot of editing you have to do in a minute.
Yeah. Pagans don't worship Satan.
I do.
The pentagram?
I do.
That's not actually a satanic thing. That's actually more of a pagan thing.
Are you going to edit all this out, or are you just talking?
Not all the pagan stuff.
Oh.
I want to keep a lot of it in there.
Oh, well, then you're going to have to edit out a lot of my comments then.
Yeah, I am. I know.
Because I'm not actually a Satanist yet.
I'll keep that in there if you want me to.
I don't really care. The old church demolished, cedar tree. I didn't even finish that story about a cedar tree. So there was a cedar tree there, and rumor has it that a witch was buried there, and the tombstone that stood over the witch's grave was split by a cedar tree that grew through it. And that cedar tree eventually became the hanging tree for other witches and also lynchings, but that's a political thing. And the cedar tree was cut down eventually. I didn't write down the year, but was cut down because it was another liability. People were climbing all over it, and it was a health hazard.
I'm glad that it was more of a liability than they thought. There's some bad preconceived notions about this tree. Maybe we should cut it down.
It was a little bit of both.
But it was Kansas. It was like, yeah, we can't have no liabilities around here.
We're not going to have any listeners from Kansas because you're sitting here insulting them all.
Huh. Kind of makes me think of last time.
What are you talking about?
Oh, Kansas City shit. You know it.
Yeah. Oh, man, I hope you all liked that because that gave my dad a hearty chuckle. Not quite like that. My father's not Santa Claus.
When I think of hearty chuckle, I think of
You think of Santa?
Yeah.
No, I don't. In 1988, 500 people gathered in the cemetery to witness the coming of the devil, but nothing happened and a lot of vandalism occurred. I didn't even know 500 people lived in Kansas.
Well, that's just dumbass.
The townspeople called on the police to lock down the area, but instead of shooing the people away, it created a conspiracy. And I weirded that wrong because they definitely shooed everyone away, but it also created a conspiracy with that.
And you weirded that wrong?
I worded it wrong. Did I say weirded it?
Mm-hmm.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did.
No, I hope I didn't.
I will show you on Snapchat whenever we're
I
editing this.
best believe it that you will.
I hate all of what you just did.
I'll tell you what the conspiracy was after this bullet. The conspiracy was elevated in 1999 when a reporting crew arrived to finally end the rumors by showing that the devil would not appear at midnight on Halloween. They were removed by police a half an hour before midnight. And the conspiracy essentially stated that the town of Stull was trying to cover up all of the weird stuff that was going on there because they were Satanists. But they were just townspeople who hated college students coming into their town, wrecking their cemetery, and doing all this weird stuff, like worship the devil.
So all the college students are devil worshippers?
I don't know, maybe.
Do you think it's the all the Starbucks they drink?
Not in the 90s.
And all the animals they don't eat?
Not in the 90s.
I had to try.
Shout out to obsessed coffee drinkers and vegans everywhere.
Yeah.
We love you. Even though you drink things differently than us and eat things differently than us. But then again, so does Tyler.
Yeah, it's because I put it all in my mouth at once.
I might have to sneeze in about 20 seconds. Nope, it's fine. It's fine. Don't pause it. I'm moving on. It is nearly impossible to get permission to conduct a full-scale investigation, which is why there has not been one. So, like ghost hunters or ghost adventurers or really anything else, you can't get permission to go in there because it's all gated off. They won't let you go. They won't let you do it.
So, do they still hold ceremonies there though?
They try not to, but some people will, hop the fence or whatever. I read that there's a way that you can get in there and avoid the police. Like you would get in there at night and then you would camp. This was before the church was demolished, but you'd camp behind the church because the cops drive around the north side and the west side, and they wouldn't see you because you'd be behind the church.
Do they hold any funerals there still at all?
I don't know. Maybe it's a cemetery, Tyler.
But you said that no one's allowed in.
Well, yeah, that doesn't mean the people of Stull can't go in to visit their ancestors.
Well, if that's the case, then anyone can still get in.
Not anyone.
Yeah.
It's a small enough town that the police will recognize who lives there and who doesn't.
Burlington Junction has 500 people. I don't even know everyone who lives in there.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Rosendale has 110. And everyone knows everyone. There's not even a police... I guess it's not really a town because there's no post office or police station. There might be a post office. You're going to have to edit that out because I'm not sure. One article stated that the cemetery is not anything like the rumors state because it's right next to a very busy highway, because it's right in the middle of Topeka and Lawrence. It has houses right across the road, and it is not a desolate, haunted wasteland. It's a urban cemetery, or I guess rural. It's a small town. It's in the middle of the town. Done with the history of it. Now we're moving into the stories. They're all rumors. All of them are rumors. Nothing's been proven. But I got most of these stories, like the first 12, I don't know how many there are, but the vast majority of stories were comments from anywhere from 14 to 11 years ago on a Lawrence.com blog about Stull, Kansas. And the only reason it was 14 to 11 years ago is because 2007 it was shut down, or it was closed off. You couldn't comment on it anymore. I don't know why. I didn't look into it, but I'm sure nothing fishy was happening.
I'm sure that nothing fishy was happening. That sounds like what you would say if something definitely fishy was happening and
Maybe.
you wanted to...
Maybe they just shut it down because they're like, we can't have these true stories getting out. I don't know if they were true or not. I'm going to tell you all of them that I could find, though.
Go for it, baby boo.
There's probably a lot more out there, but I didn't. I looked through like the first 3 pages of Google. Like I skimmed through most of them. And I was just mainly looking for stories that people in comments would tell, or like a blog or something like that. The starting one is one that I said earlier, and it's definitely the most popular story. It is said that the cemetery is one of the 7 gateways to hell, which I'll elaborate more on that later because there's actually a full-scale story as to what happens if you were to find that gateway. But to start off, there was a candle placed in a specific pumpkin in the old church. The candle would not stay lit once in the pumpkin, and the pumpkin was in the church. People lit the candle and held it, and it would stay lit. They would place the candle in the pumpkin, and it would stay lit. Once they crossed the threshold into the church with the pumpkin in hand, the candle would go out. I know what you're probably thinking. Well, there's a draft, Mason, you idiot. It's definitely a draft. The wind's blowing it out. It's going through the pumpkin, swirling around, and blowing it out. Well, I'm going to prove you wrong, Tyler. You ready?
Okay, I feel like I'm being attacked because I did not say any of those things, but fine, let's go on.
You ready? I'm going to prove I am attacking you with words.
Stop lambasting me.
I love that. That word's awesome. I actually wrote, there's a draft argument was put to rest when people would cross the same threshold with a lit match, and also the same candle but without the pumpkin, and the match would stay lit, as well as the candle. You know what that means?
That means that whenever people go in there with a pumpkin and a candle, they accidentally sneeze and they blow it right out.
Not quite, no.
Oh, okay, then what does that mean?
It means that the place is haunted by the devil.
Oh, okay. Wow, I didn't realize that that's what that translated to.
Yep,
Nice.
That's exactly what that means. Ready for the next one? There's a few long ones like that. I think there's 3 more long ones like that. The famous rock band The Cure is rumored to refuse to have played in Kansas because of Stull. You ready for the legend that I mentioned earlier that I made you wait for?
Yes.
You ready for it?
Yes, Dad.
Ready for why the devil comes back
Yes, Papa.
twice a year,
Uh-huh.
every year?
Yeah.
The reason that the devil comes back to Stull is because one of his wives is buried there. The wife just so happened to be a witch.
Can you say that again?
Why?
Because I started to talk.
The reason that the devil comes... Why?
His wife just so happened to be a witch.
His wife just so happened to be a witch.
Thank you. Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Impressive. There's also another rumor, though.
Okay.
Another rumor says that it is instead his infant son who died, as an infant. And it's also said that the infant was a werewolf. I didn't have that written down. I just remembered it.
Okay, so how about this?
I'm ready.
What if it wasn't his infant son? What if he was married?
His infant wife? Oh, man.
I was thinking even worse.
Oh, no.
Well-
What's worse than an infant wife?
Well, being gay is sinful, and if you're gay, that instantly means that you worship the devil. So, what if the devil's gay, and it wasn't his son, but it was his husband,
Oh, man.
who was also a furry.
That last part, you lost me on that part.
It was a werewolf. He was a werewolf.
You lost me. We're moving on.
Okay, fine. What if
We're moving on.
What if he was a male wolf?
Like a werewolf?
Yeah, or what if he was just a really hairy man that he was dating? He's like, hey, that guy's kind of cute.
Like the werewolf syndrome?
Ooh.
It's a real thing.
Yeah, it is.
It is. Are you ready to move on?
Yeah, I guess.
Several miscellaneous things have been reported multiple times, which includes, but are not limited to, is not limited to, knocks and bangs, like in every haunted house, voices of an old woman, which also is in every haunted house, windstorms from inside the church, which is not in every haunted house. That's something unique, right? Right?
Yeah, I guess.
Okay, cool. Ghosts of children playing at night, which is typical.
Spooky.
Memory loss and disorientation.
Hey, I do that a lot. I get that a lot. Maybe I'm haunted by the devil.
You're not. I'll tell you a little bit more about that memory loss and disorientation in a little bit. Also, something that's, there's two more things that I have here, two more main bullet points, and they're both pretty unique to this church. If you throw a bottle against a wall in the church, it would not break. Other stories with that say that if it did break, you were going to hell, which creates then a neat paradox of, do I want to throw the bottle or not? Because if you throw it, chances are it's going to break because the church really isn't haunted by the devil. And if you truly believe that it is and the bottle breaks, then you're going to hell. But if it doesn't break, then you're going to heaven. And you're also in a haunted church, which is probably more terrifying.
So you're going to hell for being too strong and breaking a bottle against a wall?
Yep.
That seems unfair. But it does give an advantage to guys like me who aren't very strong.
Mm-hmm. It does. I agree. Another claim here says that if it was raining outside, the drops would never land inside the church, even though the roof was virtually gone because it crumbled in because the church was old. There would be no rain inside of that church, which is kind of strange. Where would the rain go?
Into the devil's mouth, and he laughs.
Probably. It sounds legit. I like it. I like that.
I was trying to make fun of that monster lady, anyway.
Well, monster lady.
And you tilt your head back, and he laughs. Because 666.
What?
I'll show you the video later.
Speaking of 666, I found something really neat. Some sources that I read claimed that the old zip code, the old zip code of Stull, Kansas started with 666. And I looked that up, and unfortunately it's false. So either it was and they changed it, or it's a lie. I'm willing to bet it's the former, though, because the zip code of Topeka starts with 666. Weird, right?
Wild.
Yeah, and Topeka is about 30 minutes west of whatever town I'm talking about here. Stull. I forgot what it was called. Stull, Kansas. I won't forget it again, I promise. There are purportedly stairs near the back entrance of the church that would lead to hell. The stairs are on the left side upon going through the back doorway, and they reportedly only appear on the 2 days that the devil is said to return, which may or may not be true. I don't know if there's actually stairs or not. One story I read on the forum is wild. Are you ready for it?
Yeah.
It's crazy. Like, it goes in depth. Are you ready for this?
Mm-hmm.
You ready? I don't think you're ready. I really, really hope that it didn't pick that up. And if it did, you're going to have to leave it in. Because that's hilarious.
My computer is ready.
It's ready to go. If you were lucky enough to find the staircase and travel down it, you will find yourself in a cement room, which is scary enough on its own, let alone thinking that you're in a portal to hell. And I put lucky in quotation marks because you will be very unlucky if you end up going down there.
Well, then how would you get out?
I'll tell you. Gosh. What? Sorry, go
I'm
ahead.
asking the important questions here.
We'll get to it.
Get off my back.
Calm down. It's okay. In this cement room is a green bottle resting in the center of the room.
Do you throw it against the wall?
Oh, you got it. But it gets worse.
Is it a bottle filled with spirits?
No. Nope. It gets worse. Are you ready? If you picked up this bottle and threw it against a wall in the room. Not only will it not break, but it will roll back to the center of the room and stand up on its own, exactly how you found it.
Okay.
Yeah, you seem really confused and scared.
Yeah, like, is there a way to get out then? Oh, no, you have to sit on the bottle, don't you?
No,
Oh.
you don't.
I don't want you to be worried, but I think I might be possessed by the devil.
Why?
Because I do not remember saying the word estrulon.
Estrulon.
I never said that word.
You did say it.
No.
You were talking about your hierarchy of friends, and you said that I was in your upper echelon of friends. And I was very excited, not at the time, because it went over my head, but I'm excited now because it's one of my favorite words.
I think I might be a genius or I'm possessed by the devil. I can't tell which.
Well, if those are the options, I'm definitely going with the devil one.
The devil's inside of me. I'm the devil's prodigy.
Not the prodigy, the play toy.
I'm using words that I've never used before. Things are getting out
That's
of
what
hand.
learning is.
Learning is the devil?
No.
That's why no. That's why Republicans want to cut.
Oh man, you
education
got that
spending.
out. Cut that out. Wow. We had a good thing going there before you mentioned Republican. All right, ready?
Well, they have to be our saviors, otherwise no one else will, because all liberals are just a bunch of Satan worshippers. Go ahead.
You're going to have to cut that out and then put it into a separate audio clip and send that to my dad. There is a second flight of stairs that leads to a long hallway. So if you weren't terrified of the bottle rolling on its own and standing up on its own, then there's a little more in store for you. And by that I mean there's a staircase that leads down to a long hallway. This hallway leads to a door that is actually the gateway to hell. The outer edges of the door are illuminated.
It looks like light is shining through.
Yeah, like light is shining around the edges. Yeah, except it's like red light,
Oh.
like hell.
What if hell actually isn't red?
What if hell is so cold that it feels like it's hot?
Cold as hell. I don't know.
Interesting topics of discussion here.
We should have a ASMR podcast.
No. Is that part of the network that you want to start?
It could be.
We need to have like elevator music. I don't know about you, but if that were my elevator music, I would panic because that's fast-paced. Nobody wants fast-paced elevators because nobody wants to go fast on an elevator.
A lot of elevators have mirrors in them, so then they feel less constricting.
Yeah, but that's also terrifying because if you see someone standing in the distance that's not you, you've got some problems.
Like maybe the devil.
Yeah, that's why mirrors terrify me, but that's a discussion for another time. No matter how fast you ran or slow you walked, you would never be able to reach this door, as it held some kind of treadmill effect. But what's funny about that is, it has kind of a treadmill effect, but it works on the door. And what I mean by that is, if you would run towards it, the door would get further away, but you would stay in the same spot you were. So I guess the door wouldn't get further away. You'd stay in the same spot. But if you turned around and tried to walk back to the exit, it would take you just as long to reach the exit as it did for you to run towards the door.
So if you're running towards the door for hours, it's going to take you hours to get back to the exit.
So if you were running for 2 hours towards the door, it would take you 2 hours to get back, even though it's like 4 steps away, which is really strange. But that's where the time lapse comes into play in a little bit. I think I have some of that written down. We'll see. Another story comes from someone who had never visited Stull, Kansas, and never even heard of it until after this. Well, I guess during this story. This user on the Lawrence blog said that they attended KU and used a Ouija board in their room, and they contacted someone named Dexter. Dexter said that he had been crucified in Stull, Kansas, and none of them had ever heard of Stull because they never really went out that far and had heard of little small towns. They and their group of friends left the room to ask the information desk about Stull and got the whole story. And this person returned to their room and found every single one of their belongings turned upside down. Weird, right? But I hear you saying to me right now, as you're saying it to me, say it with me, they have a roommate.
They have a roommate.
No, they don't. You're an idiot. They don't have a roommate. You forgot to let me finish the story, Tyler. You've got to let me finish the story.
I'm being filled with angst, and that's because of you.
I hope I stress you out. They did not have a roommate, or so they said. And that's the end of the story. They couldn't find any more information on Dexter. They couldn't find any tombstone with the name Dexter on it, so maybe it wasn't actually Dexter. It was just another demon on a Ouija board. I already mentioned this, but the church that stood in the cemetery was allegedly used for witchcraft, Satanists, and other occult groups for worship, whether it be to the devil or other demonic presences. This is something I found pretty wacky. If you hold 2 bottles in the shape of an inverted cross, it was impossible to break the bottles no matter how hard you smashed them against anything while you were in the church. So if you held 2 bottles in an inverted cross and you hit them against a wall or an object or a rock or anything in the church, they wouldn't break. But if you took them out of the inverted cross and then hit them on the same wall, they'd break.
You know, it sounds like a lot of people just had a bunch of time to party there. And It's like, oh, hey, we got a bunch of beer bottles. Because, like, bottles keep popping up into this.
Let's just break them everywhere. Break them everywhere.
Break them everywhere.
All over the place.
Everywhere.
Only at 43 minutes. Holy shit, this is going to be a short episode.
That's going to be so long.
Is yours long?
It's pretty long.
I barely eclipse 1,000 words. I'm at 1,070.
I have more.
Where are you at?
1,157.
Oh, really? You want to total
No.
all 3
no.
episodes together into words?
I'm
Because
just
you didn't even
saying.
have words for the first one.
I'm just proud, okay?
You had it up here. I had it all written down. I could actually tell you right now how many words I had in all 3 of them.
Don't.
In case you missed that, listeners, I have 5,400 words, and Tyler has like what? 1,300?
Gonna edit this out.
Better not. You better hope you don't, because I know where you live. That's a threat. Probably. Oh, man.
Oh, geez, guys. Sorry.
Another legend, and just a separate one, says that if you walk down the stairs to hell, it will take you at least 2 weeks to get back up. But in the outside time, it'll only be mere moments. So it'll be 2 weeks in your time, but on the outside, it'll just be a few minutes.
How would you know that it would be 2 weeks?
Well, because you can count 14. You can count to 14.
Yeah, but you don't know what days are. Like, you don't
Well, I would count it on when I get tired and when I fall asleep and when I wake back up. That would be a day.
But if you're constantly walking for 14 days straight, there's going to be a lot of shit. Also, you're terrified. You're walking down to hell, literally.
You're trying to walk back out of hell.
Still.
But it's not literally hell yet because you haven't reached the door.
Think about all this stuff.
The door is hell.
Think about all the stuff that you'd be witnessing before that, though. Like,
What, a dark hallway?
Yeah, festering with demons.
There's no festering. It's just a dark hallway. There's nothing else in there. Listen, I've been there. I did this research.
Have you been there?
No. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. I'm going to tell you a little more stories that I remember from the top of my head that aren't really relevant because I didn't think that they just seemed too wacky and out of the blue to be part of it, to be part of this whole legend. One of the comments I read was they saw an old man. There was like a group of 3 or 4 people, and they saw an old man walking up to the old church, and they followed the old man, and that old man turned around and looked at them for about 2 minutes or 20 seconds. I don't remember what it said. It was a 2 somewhere. And the people were petrified with fear, catatonic, if you will. and the old man just turned around and walked away. Another story was there's a group of like 6 people, I think is what this one said. And they were driving along the eastern edge of the cemetery, and they saw a bonfire. So they drove towards the bonfire, and they got close to the bonfire, and they saw a group of hooded figures, 50 of them, 50 hooded figures. And
well, if this was in Kansas, maybe it was the KKK.
It wasn't.
Sorry.
Yeah, I think it said brown. Of course, I guess you wouldn't be able to see very well if it was in the dark. But there was a bonfire, so there was light. I don't know. It could have been. They just said hooded figures, and the hooded figures started running to their car, and they drove away. That was the end of that story. And another one was there was a group of people, and a fog rolled in, and they started hearing voices and running around them. So they just went back to their car. And that, my friends and Tyler, is the story of Stull Cemetery in Kansas.
I like how you said friends and Tyler.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's That's just because you're more than a friend to me.
You. I don't
you know?
care. Yeah, whatever.
You mean more to me than a friend would.
Tonight, I've got a little bit of a story for you.
Yeah? What is it?
Charlie Starkweather.
Charlie Starkweather. What a kick-ass last name.
It is, but this guy is kind of a piece. He was a piece of shit coward.
Oh.
And I'm gonna tell you all about him.
Oh. All right. I'm ready. Let's kick it into next gear and let's get it going.
All right.
I'm ready for the dessert after my main course.
Yeah.
Because mine's more important.
Yeah, but mine's sweet. And everyone eats you so they can listen to me.
Yeah.
Okay? Yeah.
That's weird for you to say.
They put up with you so they can get what they really want to, the dessert.
I think people just kind of stop listening after they listen to mine.
Yeah, probably. I don't know.
They probably just zone out for about 40 minutes or 20 minutes because you suck at storytelling and writing.
I'm not gonna cry. It's fine. I'm not gonna cry. Okay.
And then they just tune back in to hear the outro, and then they go on with their merry days.
Okay, cool. Okay. I'm not crying. All right.
Not yet. Just wait.
Charlie Starkweather was born in Lincoln, Nebraska,
Mm-hmm.
in 1938, right towards the end of the Great Depression.
Really?
Really. And he was actually the third in line of 7 children from Guy and Helen Starkweather. While Charles was bullied to the extent of dropping out at the age of 16 because of his bow-legged walk and speech impediment,
Right.
Starkweather tried to walk and talk like James Dean, but he couldn't do either of those things because of his bowed lisp.
His bowed lisp?
Hold on, sorry. Starkweather tried to walk and talk like James Dean, but couldn't due
to his bow leg.
Yeah,
and
I keep
lisp.
wanting to read it wrong though. I keep wanting to say it wrong.
You fucking basket case.
Starkweather tried to walk and talk like James Dean, but he couldn't do either of those because he had a bow leg and he had a lisp.
Right.
So that was fun.
Well, everyone growing up in that time wanted to be like James Dean, I think.
True, but this guy took it to the max.
Really?
Yeah.
Did he watch Rebel Without a Cause like 1,800 times?
Oh my gosh! Do you already know about Charles Starkweather?
I know a lot about James Dean, but I don't know anything about Starkweather.
Literally the next fucking sentence.
The next one. Okay. You're really excited about this guy.
He would often try to style himself like James Dean after seeing the movie Rebel Without a Cause.
Right.
Okay. So.
It's a good movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
Have you seen it?
Not yet.
You better go watch it.
I've been told that my grandpa looks like James Dean, which he does. But that's maybe when I watch Rebel Without a Cause. Anyway.
It's a really good movie.
2 years later, when Starkweather was 18, he met 13-year-old Carol Ann Fugate.
Fugate?
Yeah, at least I think that's how you pronounce the name. It's Fugate.
Fugate?
Fugate? Maybe? Fugate!
Probably Fugate.
Who was a perfect candidate to his James Dean lifestyle because of her rebellious spirit.
Rebel without a cause.
Then you're picking up on it.
Yeah, I am. I'm picking up what you're putting down.
Yeah, you are. She would also later be the youngest woman in American history to be tried for murder to the first degree.
Oh, well, we already know where this story's going then.
Yes, sir. At the ripe old age of 14.
Man, this is picking up quickly. Love it.
They met while Starkweather was a truck unloader for the local newspaper. While they were dating, Starkweather decided that it would be a good idea to teach Fugate how to drive.
Nice.
When she crashed Starkweather's father's car, Charles Starkweather was banned from his family's household.
Really? Just like that?
Just like that. And he was out on his own. So he was he was a high school dropout, and he had no place to live because his parents wouldn't take him. But yet he was a James C. impersonator. That is just some tough work.
Wow, if I got kicked out of my house every time I crashed my parents' vehicles, it would be 0.
Good job. I'm proud of you. That is...
Thanks.
Well, see, but the thing is, though, that she was also 13 years old.
Yeah.
And she was a woman.
Oh, yeah. I forgot this was like in the 50s.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Way to clarify the timeline here. Luckily, I knew that because I know what Rebel Without a Cause is.
You're right. Wait, actually, excuse me. I did say the timeline because it was right out of the Great Depression.
He was born after the Great Depression.
No, well, he was born in the Great Depression. So
you said 1938.
Yeah.
So I guess is in the Great
Yeah,
Depression.
barely. It was like on the outward edge of it. So after his father had told him to get out of the house,
Get out of here, Jack.
that would just be another factor that would lead Starkweather to his nihilistic view upon the life that he had.
And he would start killing.
Eventually,
Oh, am I jumping ahead in the story?
yes, you are.
Sorry.
Eventually, he left his job as a truck loader and became a refuse collector.
A what?
A refuse collector?
What's that?
I have no fucking idea.
Like a trash collector?
Well, I thought that like a refuse collector was someone that was like refused to pay, so they like collect cars. But
That's repossession. And I
Mm.
think that's even called repossession in the 50s. Refuse collector. We had to look it up. We don't know what it is.
Wait, pause.
I told you it's a waste collector. No, don't pause it. I'm right. Unpause it. You didn't even pause it. It was a trash collector. I told you. Don't ask me how I knew that, but I did.
Okay. Well,
Idiot.
but eventually he left that job as well,
Man.
as he was convinced that the only way
What a
that he could
liberal.
have any sort.
Leaving jobs and shit. I'm sorry.
Okay, David Arnold.
How dare you?
But eventually he left that job as well. As he was convinced that the only way that he could have any sort of strong financial gain was through crime.
Ah.
So,
I
On
like that
December
idea.
do you?
Yeah, it seems logical.
Well,
If you don't have the means, take it from someone else who does.
you're absolutely right. So, he had this idea. In the early hours of December 1st,
In the wee hours, one might say.
wee hours,
In the wee hours of the morning.
in the wee hours of the morning, on December 1st, 1957, Starkweather would commit his first murder at
Ooh.
the age of 19. Wow. He killed 21-year-old Navy veteran Robert Culvert, who was a gas station attendant, for $100, which in today's money is $873.
Dang.
Not a lot is known about what happened between the time of the killing in December and Starkweather meeting with Fugate in January 21st.
Wow, that's like lots of days.
Yeah, that's like 2 months.
50. Exactly. 50 days.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I'm a mathematician.
That'd be 52, 51 actually.
Yeah, you're probably right.
No, you're right, 50.
Oh, thanks.
There at Carol Ann Fugate's house, Charles Starkweather would take 3 more lives after he was denied from coming into the house by the mother and stepfather of Carol Ann Fugate, Filda and Moran Bartlett. In the altercation, Charles would also kill Hold on.
Did you not even look at these as you were typing them?
No, I did, but like, okay, hold on, sorry. In the altercation, Charles would also kill Carol's 2.5-year-old sister, Betty Jean.
Why did they have different last names? Oh, step-parent. Okay, you said step-parent. Okay,
yeah.
sorry.
After all this happened, Charles and Carol would live in the house for nearly a week.
What? Like they would with the bodies?
Yes.
Are you going to say in there what they did with the bodies?
It didn't say.
Can we speculate what they did with the bodies?
Sure, we could probably speculate.
Do you think they just left them there?
Well, they probably like stuffed in the basement or something. I
Oh,
mean,
man.
that's what I'd imagine. Probably like a cellar or something.
Wow. What if they didn't have one? They just put them in a closet?
Yeah, it's just out of sight, out of mind. After all this happened, Charles and Carol would live in the house for nearly a week. As Starkweather would tell visitors that the family was bedridden.
Was what?
That the rest of the family, like the 3 people that he killed,
Right.
all of them were bedridden. They were sick.
Oh, bedridden. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought you said peddling. Like
Oh, no.
peddering. It's like, what are you talking about?
They would only vacate when the Fugates family.
Started to smell?
They would only vacate when Fugate's family, Carol's grandmother in particular, became more and more suspicious.
Oh, okay.
Only when Carol's grandmother threatened to call the police did they decide to leave. They were granted asylum at a farm owned by one of Charles's family friends, 70-year-old August Meyer. And of course, August's kindness would be the thing that got him killed, as not too long after the killer couple went in his life. Once they got to the farm, they got their car stuck in the mud. So they walked up to the house to meet Meyer, who would then offer his own horses to help the couple get their car unstuck. But once they got to the shed, Charles took his shotgun and killed August Meyer, and shortly after, beating his dog to death, breaking his shotgun during the task. So this piece of shit killed that guy for offering him his horses and then beat his dog to death.
I don't I don't even know. I don't even have any words. I don't even have any words.
I was so mad when I read that part. Like, I was mad that that sweet old man got killed. But then I got even more mad when his fucking dog died.
The dog was the breaking point.
Yeah. It's like, yep. Anyway, Fugate claims to be a fourth accomplice in this entire scenario.
A fourth accomplice?
Forced accomplice.
Oh, forced.
Sorry.
Your lisp from the retainers coming through. No, you don't have to take it out. Or maybe you do, because people might think you say fourth as well.
Anyway.
Who were the other two accomplices?
And she felt that her only option for survival was to obey every one of Starkweather's command. Later, the exact same day, Robert Jensen, age 17, and his 16-year-old girlfriend, Carol King, offered the two a ride.
Carol. Is everyone back then named Carol?
I guess.
All 17, everyone from the age 13 to 17 was named Carol.
It's super weird because, like, everyone's name is spelled really weird. Like, Fugate and Carol.
How is Carol spelled here?
Carol Fugate, her name is spelled Caril.
Like Carol?
Yeah.
Carol. Carol.
Anyway.
I hope she doesn't listen to this.
She lives in Michigan. Anyway. This would be the last time that they were ever seen alive.
Uh-oh.
After Starkweather animalistically raped Carol King, he shot and killed the couple before putting their bodies in a storm cellar.
That caught me off guard.
Once they had taken care of the bodies, it was time to go back to the road to Lincoln, Nebraska. But this time, they were looking for a more luxurious hiding spot in an upper-class residence. They decided that the home of C. Lawyer and Carla Ward would be a perfect spot to stop. The very next day, both of them and their maid, Lillian Finsel, would be found dead, bringing the body count to 10, 11 if you count the dog.
Okay.
It was then when Charles decided to give his brother a visit. Since his brother lived out west in Washington, he decided to steal the Ward's Packard. 10 hours later, Starkweather and Fugate found themselves near Douglas, Wyoming, where Charles decided that the Packard was just too hot.
Wait a minute. In Wyoming?
Yeah.
Like 2 states away?
They were in Nebraska.
Is that still like 2 states away?
Well, they were at the east end of Nebraska.
Right, and that's on the other side. It's like 2 states away because Colorado's in the way.
No, it's not. Colorado's just below Wyoming. So like.
Okay, so I'm gonna have to look at a map for this because I don't know geography.
That's when he saw the parked car of sleeping shoe salesman Merle Collison.
Don't tell me he's gonna kill him too.
When Merle declined Starkweather to let Starkweather take his car, Charles decided to unload several rounds into the 37-year-old.
With what?
With a shotgun.
Oh.
Yeah.
The same broken one?
Yeah.
Wow. Several rounds? How many is several?
A lot.
And is this guy just killing randomly?
Yeah, he went on a killing spree.
And how did Oh, I guess it was like the 60s, wasn't it? Or 50s?
50s, yeah.
Okay, continue.
While all of this was happening, a man named Joe Sprinkle saw the two cars and... While all of this was happening, a man named Joe Sprinkle saw the two cars and stopped to see if anyone needed help. Starkweather actually decided that Sprinkle could be of some use to help him by helping Starkweather release the emergency brake on the shoe salesman's car.
Right.
When Sprinkle saw the body of the shoe salesman, Charles already had his gun pointed towards him.
Oh, man. Not good.
As they were wrestling for the gun, Deputy William Romer came upon the scene. At the moment he stepped out of his vehicle, Carol Ann Fugate jumped out of Collison's car and screamed for help.
You were going to scream help, weren't you?
Yeah.
I was waiting for it. I saw you gearing up.
He's going to kill me. He's crazy. He just killed a man. Then Starkweather jumped into his Packard and started heading back to Douglas County.
In
Wyoming.
Okay.
Did I not make that clear before?
I don't, maybe.
Okay.
We have had a few pauses in between then.
Yeah, you're right. Then Starkweather jumped back into his Packard and started heading back to Douglas County, Wyoming. Romer stayed with Fugate and radioed for help. The Douglas police...
So did Sprinkle live or Sprinkle die?
Sprinkle lived.
Okay, good. Good. I like his last name.
The Douglas police chief, Bob Ainsley, and Converse County Sheriff Earl Heflin set up a roadblock that Starkweather was immediately able to blow through at over 100 miles per hour.
A what? Wow.
Yeah, he was going pretty fast.
In a Packard. What is a Packard?
It was a pretty luxurious car.
Really?
For the day. Because, I mean, like, he stole it from an upper-class family.
Okay.
So.
Okay. Yeah, okay. So I guess it could hit that.
Right. That's when Ainsley and Heflin started chasing Starkweather. Ainsley was driving and Heflin was shooting.
Okay. Okay.
It was a good chase, but eventually Heflin was
It was a good chase?
Yeah.
What qualifies as a good chase as opposed to a bad one?
It was real fast.
Is that what a good chase means?
Yeah.
They gave a good chase.
Yeah. Real good chase. Yes, sir, I do declare this was a real good chase.
Good chase. Continue.
It was a good chase, but eventually Heflin was able to blow out the back window of the Packard, and that's when Starkweather stopped and stomped on the brakes and let the police catch him. He claims that he would have never been caught if he didn't stop. Whether or not that is true, we will never know. What we do know is that Starkweather is a yellow-bellied coward that couldn't handle being shot at. The reason why he stopped is because whenever the back window blew out, a little bit of his ear got clipped and a little bit of his hand got clipped, and he started bleeding, so he got scared. The trial.
The trial. Dun dun.
Starkweather was tried.
What did he try to do?
Whoa.
What happened?
Okay. Starkweather was extradited back to Nebraska. Did I say that weird?
Yeah.
Extradited.
Extradited. You're fine.
Starkweather was extradited back to Nebraska, where he received the death penalty, even though the governor, William Simpson, was very against capital punishment. He was willing to go out of his way to make sure that Starkweather received a death sentence. Charles Starkweather was tried and I was about to say conceived.
It was conceived. Condemned.
Charles Starkweather was tried and
convicted.
Gosh, I see the word, but I'm just like, I don't know how to pronounce it.
Conceived.
Convicted in the month of May for every single one of his kills.
All 10 of them?
All of them.
All 10?
All 11.
11?
12 if you count the dog.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Carol Ann Fugate was said to be a capture in this situation.
Okay. A captor?
Yeah.
Captive. Be captive.
Oh, okay. Carol Ann Fugate was said to be a captive in that situation. However, there has been much controversy surrounding her conviction, as Sheriff Romer says that Fugate told him that she had confessed about not being a captive. Either way, Fugate was in a women's correctional facility for 18 years.
Wow.
And got parole in 1976. Now living in Michigan and avoiding most interviews.
Of course.
I really fucking hate Charles Starkweather. He's such a slimy bastard. Like, oh, I'm so cool, I'm a James Dean impersonator. Oh no, don't shoot at me. I didn't mean to do anything wrong. Anyway.
To be fair, a lot of people in the 50s wanted to be James Dean.
Yeah, but he was just a nerd about it. I want to be... you know who I want to be?
Who?
I want to be like Ted Cruz.
You want to be like Ted Cruz?
I want to be Ted Cruz. I want to be the Zodiac Killer.
Perfect.
No, I mean, I want to be like Tom Cruise or John Travolta or something. Those are both Scientologists. I don't actually want to be like them. But I mean, like
you're already obsessing over their religion, so you're on the right track.
You're right. I mean, I have idols too, but I still try to be my own person.
I don't know. I feel like if you're bullied and you're a loner like that, you seek comfort wherever you can get it, and that was disgusting. Putting your teeth on your teeth. So he found it in James Dean, and he went with it.
Yeah, I guess. But it's still nice to make fun of him for it.
Oh man, perfect. That it?
That's all I've got.
A very short episode.
Was it?
Yeah. All the others were over 2 hours by now. By finishing it up,
How much is this?
Hour 15. I don't know if that's nice or not because you're gonna have to edit quite a bit of that out.
Stay like that.
Why? What's going on? Why? What is it? What does it look like?
It just
What's going on?
oh, Like, just the way that your cheeks round, it just made your smile look, like, really grossly big. And, like,
Oh, man.
Oh, that was fun.
Perfect.
Anyway. Oh. Whew. Oh.
All right. Well, now
All
that
right.
we've got that.
Well, if you're listening to this on Podbean or through some other media that isn't Facebook,
Probably just Podbean. It's
Probably.
only on Podbean.
but
We
I don't
share
know.
the link.
People make like copies, like put that on like YouTube or something. I don't know.
No.
It's like
I don't think we're on YouTube.
I doubt it too, but I'm just saying if there was somehow some way that you're not listening to this on Podbean,
There's pretty much no way.
follow us on Facebook.
Yeah,
Okay,
please.
fine.
Please. Please.
Thanks.
Please.
That's all I gotta say.
We had a story about us written in the Missourian newspaper by Sarah Von Seegern. She was great with the interview, and she also did a small feature, a live feature, on KNWT Channel 8. Did you watch that? I
Not
shared
yet.
it on Facebook.
Yeah, you did. Share
There's
on
like
Facebook.
I think it's like 10 minutes or something like that. It's about us. She talks about us a little bit. It was pretty great. It was live. It cut out a little bit, had some technical difficulties, and then went back in. But it was really neat. I really liked it. I watched it last night, and or I guess last night, as in Thursday night, Thursday the 15th, because this is gonna come out on the 23rd of February. And if you're listening to this, hello from the past, because it's the past now that we're recording this.
Is this gonna come out the 23rd?
Probably. Depends. Will you be able to edit it?
I don't know, because this week is finals week.
Midterm.
That's what I keep saying. You keep saying finals week, and I don't like.
Follow us on Facebook. Follow our Instagrams, which are, on the Podbean.
Wait, but last time you said don't.
Don't plug. I don't know. Just edit it out then.
Why are you lying to me?
Follow our Facebook page. Message us.
If you have any
email us.
suggestions, oh, sorry, go ahead.
That was it.
Yeah, if you have any suggestions, please email us about this stuff.
Yeah, go right ahead.
Yeah, put it on Facebook. Tell us what you love. Tell us what we should change.
Yes. Email us at rightwrongturnpodcast@gmail.com. We will listen to all of the complaints, and we might take some into consideration.
Yeah, and
Actually, we'll take all of them into consideration. We're desperate.
we'll do literally anything that you want. Peer pressure us. We'll do it.
We will. We're gullible.
Your stories, if you send in stories, we'll definitely try to consider them and see how well they fit. We haven't got any stories yet, so you could be the first. Your story could be the first.
We've only published one podcast.
Yeah, I know.
And we have 50 listeners.
50.
That's
Nice.
pretty impressive, isn't it?
We're famous.
Maybe. I don't know if it's quite 50 yet.
I don't know. I got some new listeners.
We
I've
have-
been getting a lot of new listeners for us lately.
I had a few earlier this week.
Nice.
I know.
Nice.
It is nice.
We're like missionaries. Oh my gosh, we should be missionaries.
Oh my God,
There's
we're
a
like Protestant
podcast.
priests.
I'm a Protestant.
Are you?
Yeah, you can't be a priest if you're a Protestant.
I
though.
don't know anything about religions. Anyway, we're on Facebook. Add us on Facebook, our own personal Facebooks. You know our names if you're listening to this. I'm Mason Arnold.
Yeah, but I'm Tyler Bears on Facebook.
Yeah, if you just want to add us on Facebook, we'll accept it for the most part,
Yeah, and
unless your profile picture is of an animal, and then I will accept it too.
okay. That was oddly specific, but
Yeah,
all
I
right. Actually, then it was gonna become oddly specific, but then it turned into
It just turned
You-
bland again.
yeah.
I just got repetitive and bland. That's my voice in a nutshell. Repetitive and bland.
My-
That could almost be the title of this podcast
That
too.
is That's my Tinder bio.
Repetitive and bland.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I'll steal your memes and your heart.
Ooh, that was nice. Is that your catchphrase?
Yeah.
I don't have a catchphrase.
Oh.
Repetitive and bland. Mercifully tortured.
Oh, yeah. What are we gonna name this episode?
I don't know. Repetitive and bland.
All right. Well, if you guys want to hear us, our repetitive, gross voices again, you'll listen in next week, or maybe not. I don't know.
You listen to the last two episodes we've posted. Ghost Toast and Mercifully Tortured.
Yeah.
They're on Podbean. I don't know the URL off the top of my head, but it's on Facebook. It's on our Facebook page, The Right Wrong Turn. Like our page, request to join our group, we'll accept you into the group. Nothing much is really going on because, we're a small podcast.
Small.
But we're humble,
Okay.
modest, except we're fantastic and amazing.
I don't have anything else to add.
I don't either.
I feel like we've just been kicking dead horse for the last 50 seconds.
Yeah, we are. We have been.
Anyway.
And I think the phrase is actually beating a dead horse.
No, it's kicking on a dead
I think
horse.
it's beating. I've heard beating dead horse.
Well, whoever did that, who just hits a horse, though?
Who just kicks a horse?
Yeah, you kick it to make it run.
You spur it. It's not the same.
You don't have to have spurs.
You do. You have to have a prickly thing. If you don't have a prickly thing, the horse won't run. I don't know anything about horses.
Fuck. Anyway. What the hell?
I don't know what's going on anymore.
What is going on
What
here?
is this?
If you ever find yourself going down a road, a path that you're unsure of, and if you see a turn, take it. It might just be the right wrong turn.
That gets more creative every week.
Thanks.
And I love it.
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 Thanks.
And
Thanks.
and I love it.
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 Thanks.